Welcome, everybody. I've got a surprise for you today. I've got a longtime friend of mine, Yoana Nin, and she's wearing a hat, and so am I. Happy Monday.
Happy
Where are you located, Yoana?
I'm in the Raleigh-Cary area of North Carolina.
Nice. And how's the market right now?
The market is very inconsistent.
Okay.
I can use that word. We have areas where we have multiple offers, the multi-million-dollar areas. Everything that we've listed in the last 3 months, we sold with multiple offers above ask price.
Dang.
We have new construction that offers a bunch of incentives. So we have a big pool of investors that are coming here with a lot of cash.
Okay.
And then we have general homes, mostly that $500,000, $350,000 to $5 to $7, even, that stay on the market longer. So it's very inconsistent. It depends on the zip code, the school assignments. And it's just crazy because you can never tell. So we have to significantly increase our value, right? As agents, we have to really prove our worth, know how to price it well, be very consistent with the marketing, with the promotions that we do for our listings, and really prove ourselves. So just putting it in the MLS is long time gone.
Yeah, that's very true. It's interesting. We're finding a similar market in a larger part of California, but this webinar is titled The ADHD Agent Playbook for Lead Generation. So Yoana reached out to me and said, hey, I want to do a webinar on ADHD because what we've noticed in Lab Coat Agents, there are a lot of agents with attention deficit disorder at all levels. We tend to look at something and they're like, that's the silver bullet. I'm going to get that. And then we don't use it. We're distracted by social. We're distracted by everything. But we're amazing at talking to people. So when it comes to ADHD and how to still create a great business for ourselves, where do we start, Yoana?
I think that there's no general answer. I think it's really individual, because let's not forget that ADHD people, entrepreneurs, agents, sometimes may have other comorbidities such as anxiety, sleep disorders, personality disorders, autism. There's a lot happening in the real ADHD world, right? And people say it's an attention deficit. I call it an inconsistent regulation disorder rather, because you can focus, right? We see that the ADHD agent can do, Tristan, more than a neurotypical agent can do in anytime they focus on something that they're very interested in. So because their brain is an interest-based brain. They want challenge. They want novelty. They want something new. You know how, and I really want to say this to you, knowing how you like Star Wars. The way I've seen it since I started coaching agents, because you hit it on the mark. I was coaching them. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. You're paying me and you're not doing the tasks that we're discussing. It's just not happening. So what is it that I'm missing here? I initially thought I'm doing something wrong as a coach. And then they're like, oh, our ADHD. And initially I was like, well, yeah, that's just, it's used so freely, this ADHD term. This is a very serious term, right? And people just, it's very common now. It's almost like a trend. But people with real ADHD, they're all so different and so individual, right? And so that's the reason why I really wanted to talk to you, because I feel that the agents that I've talked to, and I was coaching on camera confidence and authenticity and task, they were just saying, yeah, we're so interested. It sounds so good. And then when I would individually talk to them, everybody would have their own path. And it wasn't the answer that you're looking for. It wasn't a general answer. It was more like, hey, I have issues with sleep. I go to sleep at 2 a.m. I'm not good with lead generating in the morning. I thrive at 8 p.m. I thrive at 3 a.m. That's when I wake up and I do all of my to-do lists for the next morning. So I discovered so much complexity and in coaching them, and so much difference, that I think that the offices, big corporations, or like Keller Williams, EXP, Why Realty. They need to really look at that, because when you have 3 agents that have ADHD that you can then nourish and flourish and love on, you can get more done with those 3 agents that you could get with a neurotypical brain that does 3 hours of lead generating. They don't really focus. They're there. They're pretending to do it. They follow a system, but ADHD can't do it, right? ADHD needs different approaches.
That's true. That's actually very true. I have a question about that. But first, Deb says this is the perfect career for people with ADHD. And then Antonio says, which made me laugh, if I'm not doing 3 things at a time, I'm sleeping, which is very true. But with agents, with the majority of agents being able to do multiple things and jumping from one task to being on a phone call to now prospecting to now taking a call from the family to then going and working on a presentation to then going door knocking to then putting up signs to then talking to the escrow company, like back to back to back to back nonstop, right? There's also a burnout issue. How do we deal with that?
So I don't think that the agents can do the multitasking that you're referring to. The agent with ADHD, actually, that is the biggest challenge. They cannot. The switching from task to task is a big problem for ADHD.
I agree.
The executive functions are the ones that are affected in ADHD, right? So we're talking about starting a task without procrastination, managing time and knowing exactly where to put your time and how long things are going to take, holding a plan in your head while you're executing it. That's very, very hard for them. Regulating emotions when the deals fall apart. And the last one is switching between tasks without losing momentum, because you can switch between listing appointments and calls and admin work and posting something on social media, but it's not going to last long. If you're a real ADHDer, you're going to just have to focus on one thing, do that one thing really well for 20 minutes, and then take a break, give yourself a reward, do something that fills you up, like fuels you up, I want to say, and then maybe do something else. So most of my clients actually go in sprints. They go, okay, today I've had a shitty day or a shitty night. I'm not going to do that. But what's the one thing that I really need to do? What is the one person that I really need to follow up with? I'm going to do that between 10 and 11, and I'm going to feel good about myself instead of trying to do 10 things and feel shitty and feel like a failure because I haven't done any of them properly. And that's it. The day is done.
And we don't finish. We start and then.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So how do we get into that flow as an ADHD person, right? Listening in. How do we get into that groove or that flow to be able to finish tasks? What's the key? What have you seen?
I have seen that breaking the task down to a very, very small step really matters. And it's really important. So instead of saying, I'm going to do this much, you're going to say, I'm going to start with this small step. And if I do that one step, it's going to be very, very beneficial. Because once you start, so it's all about starting. Once you start, then you're like, oh, this is great. Then your brain has the tendency to continue, right? It's always that task initiation that's very, very difficult for them. It's like, I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it, right? I just can't get myself to do it is the problem. So how do I do it if I just sit there? And if my broker in charge says from 10 to 11, you're going to do lead gen, and I just sit there. So what I tell them is, instead of trying to follow that, how about you say, instead of 10 to 11, I say 1 minute. From 1 minute, you can sit for 50 seconds in that 1 minute, but for 10 seconds, you're going to call that lead. Just call that lead once. And that's once they start, we're going to proceed. And if you allow me, because I know time is of the essence, and especially with ADHD, it's very important. I really want to give them the biggest 10 mistakes that I've noticed with coaching agents.
Good one.
So this is, I have a bunch of notes because I'm like you, I constantly write and I read, and I'm going to also give them some AI suggestions that have really helped my clients tremendously.
Excellent.
So the first mistake is, and you will probably have the notes and all of that, you guys, I have coached many agents. I've been in this business for 15 years, and I started coaching, again, just camera confidence. And when we started going down to the deep root of like awareness of who you are, and realizing that you are a superpower in this business, things really shifted, right? So instead of like doubting yourself and doubting and constantly trying to pretend that you are who you're not, how about you just be yourself, be authentic, record the videos, Tristan records, I record. I get a shitty job done most of the days, and I don't freaking care. I just post it. I'm like, I'm just going to post it. This is what I had to do, and I'm doing it. But listen to this. So the first mistake that I see is the CRM. How many of you have bought, I don't know, Y Lopo, this and this and this and this? Everybody is, I mean, all great.
Yeah.
Great. But how many of them actually use it? Okay. So if you have 200 contacts in your CRM, you're not using it. The one thing that I suggest, and is very, very simple, okay? You don't need another app and another, I don't know what. You need a hot 20 people list. So that list is something that you write by hand. Okay? It's a physical list. It's a board with 20 people. And those 20 people, you're going to call on a weekly basis. So we're, again, breaking it down into small bits of action steps, right? So you have these 20 people.
Would you suggest, and by the way, I agree with the writing piece, Yoana, that makes a big difference. Would you suggest that we do it on a board, on a journal, on a note card? What has worked that you've seen well? It doesn't matter, or it does matter?
It doesn't matter as much. However, writing it with a pen on a piece of paper creates more from a spiritual, energetic alignment perspective. And I am a big sucker for all of these. There's nothing that will ever compare. No computer, no AI, no board. So you can write it on a board, but use your hand, write it. It just kind of gets imprinted in your DNA a little bit better, in my opinion. And all you need to do is write 3, like I call 3 people today, like in one day. So don't do a whole, I need to do so much, because it's overwhelming. Mistake number 2, and this is so crazy, and you and I know this. I think that me and you share the consistency online. We record ourselves, and that's very hard for most people, even neurotypical people, let alone ADHD people, because what they do is they do this, okay, I'm going to hyper focus right now. I'm going to create 11 posts. I'm going to do this. And then 2 weeks pass and nothing happens. Right? Yes. You batch, you do all of this work. It's great. It's amazing. And then suddenly nothing happens. So you're not consistent. People don't see you. You're not consistent with them, and you're not consistent with yourself either. So the one thing that I've noticed helps my client is you batch record in one Saturday. Okay. And then you just one day. So you do that activity in one day. It's very, very helpful for ADHD people to do one thing at a time. Buddha said, when you walk, you walk. When you sleep, you sleep. When you dream, you dream. When you cook, you cook. I love that. That is the one thing that keeps me really afloat, is the fact that I focus and I just stay on that one thing. I don't go in 10,000 things. You can't, right? So batch record 10 videos in one Saturday. And then a lot of people that I know use Buffer. Or later, it's Buffer is cheaper than later, and you just schedule them. So it's going to be, if you don't want to do it, then you can hire a VA or whoever to schedule them and to do the description, whatnot, or a high school kid, it doesn't matter, right? But you can do it, and then you're done. And you know that you have that one Saturday when you're just doing the work that you need to do, and then you move on.
I like that. Antonio's got a question. What's up, Antonio? Thanks for always tuning in, buddy. Question: Is there a correlation between multitasking and ADHD from what you've seen?
Right. The brain with ADHD cannot multitask. It's very difficult for them to move from one task to another. So that's pretty much the correlation. That's the one thing that can be addressed, and it is addressed with the right medicine for the right ADHD brain, with coaching. So it's very, very hard. Procrastination on, once you lose momentum, I don't know if you remember, Antonio, what I said in the beginning. The ADHD brain is the brain that focuses, and it's driven by novelty, by interest, rather than being driven by importance. So when you're very interested in that one thing, you're focusing on that. And then when you if you focus and you have small little tasks that you need to do, that's perfect. When you have a shitload of tasks and then your Instagram beeps and the phone rings and the client wants to negotiate, I don't know what, you're all over the place. And that's so much worse for the ADHD brain, because they just cannot handle it. We might be able to handle it.
How do we, because I see agents function that way all the time, right? And I think longer term, I think it's a detriment. I agree with you. But how do we stop from doing that as agents? How do we do a better job of monitoring that so that we do less of that?
So first, you develop self-awareness, and you say, when do I perform the best? So there's some things that I wrote here that are very important. I think you plan by energy, not by time, right? So that is the first thing. Plan by energy, not by time. So you have 3 task categories. The first one is the high focus. The second one is the medium focus. And the third one is the low focus. So match the task to how your brain is running that day. That day. Not that week, not that quarter, not I want 300K in GCI and I need to close 50 deals and I'm going to do this. And this is the January goal, and by February, nothing works anymore. So go slow.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, exactly. 2, use body doubling. It is one of the most underrated things that people, and I think in most of the big offices, where if the lead gen is happening, just sitting next to someone is very, very important for the ADHD brain. Or you can just go on YouTube, and in that moment when you just want to do that one thing, focus and use body doubling to do it. Okay. And the third thing would be make starting that one goal. So just start.
You've minimized it. You almost created a first principle. You went back down and you're like, hey, what's the thing I need to do? Oh, start. Got it.
Start. Can we just start?
Yeah, we can. Good one. I like that.
Yeah. The third mistake, so I went through using a CRM, writing 20 hot list, right? That's the small, visible, and urgent thing that the ADHD can do. Trying to post on social media consistently is not working. How about you batch record those 10 videos on a Saturday, all of them, and then use Letter or Buffer to auto schedule. Number 3 would be the open house with no follow-up. And this is the thing that I see so many people have the follow-up sheets and they never follow up, or they follow up once and then they never do anything else again. What I do on my end, which I love for open houses, so some people have the QR codes, right, where they scan and they immediately get the information about the property from the agent. So they usually use Spatio or Google Form that's integrated with Zapier. So depending on which one you want to use. So again, something that you prepare yourself ahead of the open house, if it makes sense. So you know for a fact that you have it, the QR code is there, and they're going to scan it, and you're like, there you go. All of them are here. They're going in my database. And then what I like doing is just recording myself. I record a quick video, say, hey, thanks so much for coming to my open house. It was so great seeing you. By the way, remember, my name is Yoana Nin. This is the property address. And I just send it to all of them. Bam, 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 bam. So before I leave the house, I'm not getting in my car without doing all of that, right? And then I may send the list to my assistant and say, hey, can you put that in the CRM? Can you tag them open house? Can you do this? And then maybe, you know, send them another voice message, maybe even voice or like a video. And this is what I coach on, right? Like, how do we record ourselves authentically and say, hey, I haven't heard from you. How are you doing? What's up? No sales pitches, no like complicated thing. Literally a 10-second recording where, again, they see my beautifully sick face. I don't freaking care. And I just send it to them, right?
Yes, that's true. I like that.
Yeah, so that's the another thing. Mistake number 4, trying to cold call for an hour every morning. Now, most people sit there for 45 minutes and they make 3 calls and then they feel like shit because they didn't do the 50 people that they were supposed to do. So instead, again, micro door method. I always go down to micro door method. So you need to commit to 1 call. How easy is that? Just 1 call. And usually most of my clients, after they've made that 1 call and they feel good about themselves, someone answered, they will warm up and go to the 2nd, to the 3rd, but there's no internal pressure. Because Tristan, I know most of the ADHD people are amazing, but they don't know how amazing they are, right? You know how they are just like Skywalker, like Luke.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker is the ADHD agent, okay? The Force is their brain. Yoda is the guide that teaches them how to use their creativity, how to use their personality, how to use that everything, how to use the Force to get where they want to get. It's so hard for them because they consistently put themselves down, especially women. There's a lot of shame in women agents. I don't want this to be a monologue, but I know that we're very limited on time, and I just want to add that.
I want to do a part 2 to this because I already know we're not going to finish, but
No.
I do want to do a part 2 for sure. So
Sure. Yep.
Don't speed it up. Just give it to us like it's supposed to be given, please.
Sure. So this is the cold calling. Again, you guys, whoever is here and whoever's going to see that, don't try to do what the other agents do in the office. Just do it. Just call that one person and give yourself some grace, because the women that I work with, and now we're going to go even deeper in the reality of perimenopause and menopause and hormonal changes and all of that. It is brutally hard. And you get to a moment where you go, I'm done with this shit. Like, I'm just done pretending. I'm just done not being myself. I don't want to do what the other agents do. And I know that I have the capacity to cold call or to lead gen. I just need some systems. I just need someone to help me. I need someone to guide me and to help me reignite that joy. And it's very important. Very important.
Very true.
Do we have any questions, or do you want me to move forward?
Keep going. I just want to add a few things here. Amanda said, great point. I was thinking about batch recording on specific day as opposed to trying to record a video daily, which, by the way, Amanda, it gets to a point where it feels like impossible and you just give up. So that's a good point. Ines, how are you? She's from Portugal. Thanks for bringing this theme up. So that's really good. And thanks for being on. John Payne says Luke Skywalker equals agent, the Force, the brain. Yoda is, who was it, Yoana? Who was Yoda?
Yoda is the coach that teaches Luke how to use the Force.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like that. And then Todd, is it just me? I'm not sure what you're referring to, Todd. If by any chance the screen is frozen, sometimes you just have to log back in and out, if that's what you're referring to. Antonio says, great idea. Looking forward to part 2, Yoana. Yeah, this is a topic that I'm not sure why we had never brought it up or talked about it before, but it was Yoana's idea. So you guys can thank her. And we did put up her contact information. Okay, continue. We've got a few minutes.
The number 4 mistake is networking events. Now, I think this is very common. People go to networking events, they collect business cards, and they never follow up with anyone. And I'm going to go back to the fact that in the room, while you are there at the chamber, at whatever networking event, even realtor events, wherever you're going, follow up in the room. Like what I do, I'm like, no, thank you. Uh-oh.
No, we're here.
Oh, you're here?
Yeah.
Something. Okay, sorry, my screen went blank. So I don't get their business cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just go, I'm gonna lose it. Sorry, that's the reality. So how about I connect with you on LinkedIn right now?
Okay.
And I'll just send them a LinkedIn message, because a lot of agents, by the way, use LinkedIn really, really well, more than you think, or at least my clients.
Yeah.
They use Sales Navigator, and especially for myself, who focuses a lot on, and my team, on international relo and executives that are moving to the area. We use Sales Navigator, and we just send them like market updates, or like, hey, here's what's happening in this zip code, in that zip code. So it's easier for the agent with ADHD to do that, because a lot of people don't use Facebook for networking, right? So they look at this as a strictly business related conversation if they're in a networking group for business. So making sure that you understand which platform you're using for what, and not try to, like, for me, Tristan, Instagram is and has never been my thing. Like I forget Instagram exists. Like,
you know, I didn't think about it like this before, Yoana. But you're telling us because if I go to Facebook, I get lost. Like, oh my gosh, there's this, and then there's a messenger, then I see a friend, then it's somebody's birthday, then lab coat agents, and then I never come back. But if you're telling me when I go to network, I know that everybody there that I network with is going to go to a specific social outlet, meaning LinkedIn. I'm going to be very focused every time I open LinkedIn to know what it's for. I love that take on it. I didn't see it like that before.
Because we see people as people, but we're all individuals, right? Like you're a good friend, a good buddy of mine. I love sending you jokes. Like I love sending you stuff that makes us laugh. And it's just one of those things like, hey, what's up? How about we laugh? There's like, and I do that on Instagram, and that's how I communicate, or I try to reach you to make sure that you know that I exist, right? But if I would try to reach you on, I don't know, on LinkedIn, you would probably never answer. So what about, especially ADHD, right? So hey, where are you most present? Are you on LinkedIn? Sure, I'll send you a message there, and then I come home and I write it down and say, hey, I really want to focus on that with this specific person. And I have little groups of like women, that Romanian women, or women in trend, or women in whatever. So it's so much easier, and it's like 1 or 2 or 3 people, not 50 people, but rather 3 people that you're focusing on and you have a quality relationship with, versus 30 that you never ever contact again, and they're not on your platforms. Okay, so that's another big mistake that I see. Number, I believe it was 7.
Hold on, let's pause it right there, because what I want to do is I want to continue 7 through 10, and then I want to expand on the conversation on part 2. Okay. But I also want to give people the opportunity to reach out to you. And we did put up her link there, Yoana Nin coaching.com.
Yeah, Yoana Nin coaching. That is my website, and my phone number. So I'm very good with phone numbers. So if you text me on my coaching number, I will answer any questions you may have. I'm, not here to sell you on anything, but just if you are struggling, I think it's definitely worth the path to get some coaching and figure out if you're struggling with productivity, with task initiation, with being authentic and not being afraid of like showing people who you are, your real voice in real estate. It's going to get you more deals than you think.
I agree.
Yeah.
And she's funny, just so you know, guys. She's easy to get along with. She's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Tristan. You've always been a support.
Funny. There you go. Good combo. Good combo. Smart and funny. So we're going to do a part 2 to this. We'll start with number 7 on the next part. But I also, Yoana, just so you're prepared, I also want to expand on the things that we should be doing on a daily basis to become more self-aware. Because I think the self-aware piece is going to be the key to getting us to where we want to get to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I could write a novel on that.
Yeah, I think you could. And it would be great.
I think we should have a part 1, part 2, part 3, and then let's check back on Christmas and New Year. Let's see how we're doing.
Good idea.
Tristan, are any of these ever interactive, or can we do something where people come in and they ask questions?
What we could do is we could probably, after the second one, we could probably open it up and people can just ask questions. We could probably have a different setting, maybe do it in a meeting type of thing.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to create some hands-on exercises that we can work on together.
Ooh, okay, you know, let's talk about that.
Like a live coaching session where I can say, okay, this is what we're going to do right now. How about, you know what I mean? Just like if you're in an office. You know,
I could probably bring you in only because the setting's different into our coaching in a brilliant tribe. Yeah. And the setting is different because I can see everybody and we can interact. Maybe we could have it thereafter. Okay, let's set up part 2 and let's talk about the other one.
Okay, mi amigo.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Thanks, Yoana. Everybody check her out. If you have questions, you know how to reach out to her. If you don't, just reach out to me and I'll connect you. Thanks for doing this, Yoana.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everybody.